Okay. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to my podcast. I'm your host, Venita Queen Abrams, where healing is freedom. Welcome to a place where hearts are mended, where truth is spoken and chains are broken. This is your space. This is your time. Let's heal together. Healing is freedom. Let your soul rise high with Venita Queen Abrams right by your side. You'll learn how to fly from pain to purpose. Let your story be told. This is your moment. Break free, be bold. From trauma to triumph, from silence to sound. This is the sacred ground where healing is found through laughter, through tears, through powerful truth. We honor the journey from broken to new. Healing is freedom. Let your soul rise high with Venita Queen Abrams. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I'm your host, Venita Queen Abrams, and welcome to Healing is Freedom podcast. Well, today it's going to be a little deep, y'all. It's just me, myself, and I. And a lot of times we need to understand how to spend time with yourself, right? So that's this moment right now. This is episode 8, and it's all about the weight wasn't just physical. And as you can see these pictures to the right of me and probably the left of you, that's me on both sides, both sides. In 19, I'm sorry, all my life actually, but the one in the purple there was back in 2016, 17, 18, and come 2020, 2019, I'm the one on the in the red. They both were me. But as you look at those pictures, it just tells you that okay, she's a big girl. I was beautiful, still felt beautiful. But the lady sitting there in the purple was so full of pain, trauma, tragedy, grief, lack of love and self. I can go on and on, but that's what she was until I found that when you start working out mentally, the weight comes off. So this segment is going to be about me and my journey, my weight loss journey, my weight gain journey. I mean, we went up and down, up and down. But I'm going to start off with an affirmation. Healing begins when I stop hiding my hurt. The weight I carried was never just on my body, it was on my spirit. Welcome again. And I hope you all enjoy this journey because this is not just about pounds lost. This is about pain released, worth reclaiming, and miracles in motion. Welcome to Healing is Freedom. The truth behind the weight. When I was 268 pounds, you guys, it was truly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even realize I was 268 pounds. I was walking around like I had a shape like Janet Jackson or Beyonce. You couldn't tell me that I was fat because I learned how to live in a condition of surviving. All my life, I've been surviving, not living, just surviving. I've been taught that you get up, you do what you have to do, and you go to work. You do what you have to do. You take care of the kid. You do what you have to do. And I wasn't making sure I was okay. See, that's a problem that a lot of us deal with, not understanding what we need as an adult, man and woman, primarily women. I'm just going to talk because I'm a woman and I can really tell you more about how women deal with things, what this woman has dealt with things opposed to what a man does, how a man deal. But 268 was my highest weight I've ever been, other than when I was carrying a child. And you could not that, um, tell me how to lose weight, because in my mind, I was fat even when I lost weight. I would go to Jenny Craig and I would lose weight and I would still feel fat. I tried Weight Watchers, which I lost 40 pounds on Weight Watchers, but I still felt fat. Um, and that's what I mean about the weight wasn't just physical, it was mental. And I didn't realize that until years later, of course, but let me just stick with where we are right now in my life. And I know some of you have heard me say some things about what I've dealt with if you've been, following me here on this podcast. I wrote a book entitled Inside Out, A Queen's Journey. And it talked about my journey. Um, I was raped by my father at the age of 10. My mom had a drug addiction, and I tried to save her. Actually, I would put myself, if I could have sacrificed myself for my mom, I would have sacrificed myself for her because I loved her so much. Um, I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth, because I was never attached to my emotions. I never knew that that was a thing, to care about my emotions. Not until I started therapy, and I'll talk about that a little later. All I ever knew is I have to get up and make sure my sisters and my brother was okay. I had to make sure my mom was okay. I had to make sure that things were done. I was the oldest, a lot of times, um, back in the day, it was like you do what you have to do when you are young. And the most important thing to me back then, and I used to remember when my brother would talk about how I love Big Macs from McDonald's, but I would love to eat. And that's when that emotional eating started when I was young. Yeah, I love Big Macs. I love Twinkies. I remember my grandmother would cook that good old Sunday dinner, and in order to get a dessert, you had to eat all of your food, and then you would get like a Twinkie, or mama would make bread pudding or whatever she would make. But I looked forward to the sweets because sugar's an addiction. It's an addiction when you are craving sugar. But back then, I didn't know. Food was my friend. It never lied to me. It didn't beat me. It didn't call me a bitch. It didn't hurt me. It didn't rape me. It didn't do anything to me at the time. I thought that's what I had to do to just get that solace, that relaxation, that comfort. I found comfort in food. And that's when the obesity started. Now, back in the day, no one told me that eating too much is going to make you unhealthy, right? It will make fun of you, but making fun of me, calling me names didn't make me want to do anything other than eat even more, to be honest with you. But that's just a snippet of my story. If you want to know the rest, buy the book. Inside Out: A Queen's Journey is available on Amazon. You can call into the station, and I can get you a copy. But it talks about a lot of things that I healed from. Some things I thought I healed from until this recent um, experience, the divorce happened in my life. I thought I was healed from that. But something that my mother told me: once an addict, always an addict. I want y'all to hear this. She will always say, you're addicted to food, because once an addict is always an addict. And she's right. Sandra Jones was correct. Every time I went through something in life, I would find somewhere or something to eat. And every year I would fight and fight to stay healthy or try to be healthy, but it didn't work. I had so many failed diets over and over again, over and over again. Speak about emotional weight, childhood trauma, rejections, feeling invisible. That's a big one. That's a big one. I joined the Chi-Town Mustang company organization, because I got a Mustang, and I joined that, and I felt like, well, I can be seen if I got a Mustang, and I was still invisible. I joined Eastern Star because I'm looking for a community to fit in, doing something other than eating or emotionally eating. I'm trying to find a connection because I didn't have it. That didn't work. Then I joined Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I love being a Delta, but I still felt invisible. I had 105 sorors, Lion Sisters, still to this day, and I still feel invisible. Now, I'm not saying anything about them or whatever, but I just didn't feel like I fit in until one day when my house caught on fire in 2010. And God was like, you know what? You're not to be seen. You are an environment changer. And I had to unpack that and find out what on earth is an environment changer, God. I mean, I had this conversation. I'll never forget. It was me, myself, I, and God, and in a house that was just being rebuilt after the fire in 2011. And he started showing me all of those different things. And I started realizing, I was like, wow, here I am running and looking for something that's already in me. Me. Figuring this person out that went through all the trauma and all the tragedy, because behind the weight was the weight of not being seen, not being heard, and not being healed. But I had to find a way to escape from all of those negative thoughts that was in my mind. Okay, my father raped me. I made it. He didn't kill me. I'm here. Okay, I had to deal with some traumatic experiences. I was bullied. I was talked about. Fat, black, and ugly was the favorite bully name for me, but it didn't break me. It made me stronger because each and every time I went through the things I went through, I went to school, I was successful. Got my first bachelor's of arts in education and communication. Got my second one in education. Got my second master in writing curriculums. And so here now I'm working on my doctorate degree, but I was still missing something, you guys. I'm telling you, I was sore. I would write plays and do poetry and I still couldn't fight that addiction of obesity. So when I tell you the weight wasn't just physical, it's been mental all my life. You know that thing on Color Purple? All my life, I had to fight. I've been fighting fat all of my damn life and still fighting it. Not until I joined this gym that was a miracle worker for me. Um, Mind, Body, and Soul, 360 Mind, Body, and Soul. It's when I started unpacking all the hurt and pain. But before I tell you about that, I want you to take a look at where I was when I was 268 pounds. 270 really. I told people 268 because I went on I tried to take some what you call those some enemas to lose a little weight before I got on the scale, but I was 270. But when I started with 360, I was 268 pounds. And I looked at myself. What really made me start trying to do something about this body that you're looking at right now is I saw myself naked in the mirror. And I'm like, why would somebody want this or like this? I saw myself fat, black, and ugly, just like that bully used to call me. And I wanted to do something right then and there. Now, the guy that I was with, who was my boyfriend at the time, who became my fiance, and then married me, he was aiding that. He was like, "Oh, you're beautiful. I love your stomach." And I'm like, I would look at him like, "What do you love about this big old fat black ugly girl?" I felt that way. And I had to do something about it. So I didn't wallow in my tears. I started doing something. But this was the recipe that I was eating from, you guys. Don't take a second out of me. I want to ask you guys, what recipe are you eating from? So check out this. So in my book, I talk about different recipes. This is the queen's recipes, right? Life recipes. Choose which recipe you like to cook from in life. And so I'm going to ask you to think about that. As you look at that, it talks about recipe for hate. Are you cooking with a cup of low self-esteem? I had that all my life, y'all. See, this is where the mental weight is. Start piling on. If it's something that you don't like about yourself, like I told you, I never really liked how my body looked. So low self-esteem, try to cover up the deadly tongue. 7 teaspoons of the deadly tongue, 1 barrel of obesity, a can of rape, a tablespoon of jealousy, 3 pints of loneliness, 12 gallons of abandonment, 2 and 1/4 quart of addiction, 8 pounds of lust, 6 boxes of domestic abuse, and 9 ounces of manipulation, and 5 pounds of rejection. That was my life, you guys. I kid you not. But I started learning that through writing poetry and therapy and mind, body, and soul 360 and meditation and getting around people who celebrate me and don't call me names. I start eating from the recipe of love, a cup of affection, and learning how to listen more and showing more kindness and a heartfelt kisses. I got around people who I know who loved me. An armful of hugs and a zest of care and giving empathy and a drop of love and a bit of hope and sprinkle of understanding and tables of laughter and can of forgiveness. A can of forgiveness. A can of forgiveness, y'all. Listen. In order to heal in life, you have to learn how to forgive. I had to first forgive myself because all of the bad words that I would say to myself, and even if I didn't say it, I thought about how I felt like I wasn't worthy or worth it. I felt like I had to settle for things in my life because I couldn't find a man that would love someone that looked like me. And all of these thoughts that was in my mind, right? It attracted those same type of people. The same type of people will attract. You will attract the way you feeling about yourself, you will attract those people. And I did. They didn't say that, but they treated me like that. And so I had to change that because if I continue to look at myself that way, why would I expect anybody else to love someone that I don't love? Why would I expect someone to love me if I couldn't love myself? So I had to learn how to love myself and 360, mind, body, and soul. Now I'm going to show you all this picture here. The trio, I call it. I call it the trio. I had this dress, you guys, right? At 268, it was this dress that I wore, and you can see it. Now, you couldn't tell me was stretching the dress all out of proportion. I would tell you to get out your face because I was hiding behind smiles and hiding behind listening to the man who thought all of that 268 was beautiful. I was hiding behind eating emotionally and not feeling beautiful, smiling like I'm okay, and I really wasn't. That was not healthy for me. So when I joined 360 Mind, Body, and Soul, we did every type of exercise you ever want to mention: burpees, planks, quick fires. We changed our diet because you can't work off a bad diet. So my whole paradigm shift. And then I lost every bikini challenge. And I will say bikini challenge. I had never put on a two-piece bikini ever, but that place there taught us mind, body, and soul 360. The actual, no, you can keep it up there because I want them to really look at this because this is where life started changing for me. This is where my paradigm shift started changing. The trio, it changed there because in 268, I had to unpack all the hurt, all the self-doubt, all the low self-esteem, all the trauma, all being the victim. I had to be victorious. And so every every bikini challenge we had one in the fall, one in the summer. We would work out, but we would do something that was so powerful. We would talk about our hurt. We would talk about our pain. I had a coach, Coach Iron. She was like, why? Why? I said, because why do you want to lose weight? Because I want to feel good. Why? Because I want to look good. Why? And the why kept coming until it was like, because I want to feel appreciated. I want to feel valued. I want someone to love me. And there it was. She was like, yes, right there, Queen. That's when you start unpacking that hurt. That's why you want to lose weight. You want to lose weight because you want to feel appreciated. Like, yes. And that happened. Now I had to figure out, how do I feel appreciated? How can I expect somebody to appreciate me when I didn't appreciate myself, when I didn't love myself? So I start losing weight. After 268, I hit 228. And I'm like, oh my God, this is cute. And I put that same dress on at 228. And I'm like, I didn't realize I stressed. That's the same dress, y'all. I didn't realize I had stretched that dress out like that. 228, I started feeling beautiful. I did. I started feeling healthier. At 268, I couldn't bend my knees. I couldn't tie my shoes. I couldn't zip my dress. So the guy I was with, he took great, and he was happy that I guess he enjoyed helping me. Let me just say that. But I was handicapped. I couldn't walk up the stairs without my knees cracked. I mean, oh my God, it was horrible. But 228, baby, I was walking fast. I mean, 360 was like, come on, you gotta run. They would make you face your fears. They would make you do things that you felt like you couldn't do in your life. And not only that, they would congratulate you that good job, queen. Everybody need to feel valued and appreciated. They showed me that I had value. Even at 268, I still had value. I just had a lot of volume. Still had a lot of volume. So each one of those bikini challenges, I would lose 25 pounds, 35 pounds, changing my, all of a sudden I became addicted to healthy eating. What? Yes, that go that word. I changed my paradigm shift. I started eating healthy stuff. I started looking at TikTok and making new recipes. And oh my God, you guys, what are you eating from? What's your recipe? Are you eating from love and joy and loving yourself? Can you look at yourself in the mirror right now, naked, and love what you see? And if not, are you beating yourself up mentally because it's not what you like? It's not what it needs to look like. Stop it if you are. Stop it. Love where you are. Love every bit. If you're 300, 400, 500, 600 pounds, 190, 192. If you're too little, too small, love where you are. That's what I learned at 360. We have to meet where we are, where we are. We can't be, you can't, you're not going to lose weight overnight. Yes, you just put a plan of action in place. And that's what I did at 360. I was determined to come down some more. So when you see the trio again, I lost, went down to 228. And in a year, in 1 year, I hit a whopping 188 pounds. You all couldn't tell me a damn thing. I was fly. Okay. You couldn't tell me nothing. So I put the dress back on. This was during COVID. I'm like, I can't hardly fit this dress. Is this how this dress was supposed to look? And I laughed about it, but I really shedded a lot of tears because it just goes to show you that the weight that I was carrying, I didn't even see that I was that big. I didn't see that I was that big until I lost down to 188 pounds. Now, I didn't stay 188 long, y'all. I'm just going to be honest with you. So you can take the trio off. I didn't stay 188, but I start the amount of the weight that I stayed of 3 or 4 years was 194, 195. And that's what you see in the red dress next to me. And that's where I was up until last year. So remember when I told you my mother said that once an addict, always an addict. So last year I was challenged. I had a setback, and it was also a miracle. I had a rotator cuff surgery. So last year in I want to say February, I was 202. Yes, because my arm was hurting a lot and I couldn't do a lot of movement and everything. And I was still eating practically pretty healthy. I had went into Garza because 360 Mind, Body, and Soul had closed down. So the key to everything that I had to do is I had to stay connected, find a community of people that want and desire something that you're thriving to do or are doing. And so Garza was one that I found like, another family. And so I got into Garza. Here we go. And I'm working out again. And because I gained up because I hurt my back one time and I gained like 10 or 20 pounds and I lost it. Got down to 199, really 202. 199 was running and got on the scale, but I was 202. The amount that I had gotten up to was probably 212 because I couldn't move as much. And had that rotator cuff surgery in May. And then I had on the right side of my spine a synovial cyst. And I had started dealing with neuropathy in my feet and sciatic nerve pain. So I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. I couldn't sleep in my bed. Last year was really, really hard. I went from working out to couldn't move. That was hard and still is. Haven't really talked about the emotional damage that did. It tried to break me. I lost my strength, my mobility, my peace, but I didn't lose faith. I mean, I didn't. But I am going to say I gained 47 pounds. After I promised myself I wasn't going to get back there again. 47 pounds. So now that year passed. They didn't have to, the miracle was they didn't have to operate on my back. Thank you, Lord. My rotator cuff surgery, I couldn't raise my hand. I couldn't do anything for myself. I couldn't. We take a lot for granted that we're able to walk, we're able to move. I couldn't raise my hand up in the air. It was my right hand, y'all. I couldn't wash myself, couldn't bathe myself from May all the way up until December, probably November. But I thank God that I didn't have to have back surgery. So that was a good. It mysteriously disappeared. The doctor said I was a miracle. I was still in pain, but gradually he said, whoever's praying for you, and my mama A and everybody was praying for me. It disappeared. I didn't have to have back surgery for the second time. That would have been my second back surgery. So healing isn't about perfection. It's about being present, right? And I thank God for the miracle disappearing, but I was still dealing with, now I got this weight. The doctor just said that that is nothing wrong. So now I got to figure out how the pain gonna go. Long story short, the pain did go away. Thank you, Jesus. It did. I still have sciatic nerve pain every now and then. Neuropathy in my feet every now and then. I think it's because I had to sit for so long. But I've lost 12 pounds so far. I didn't tell you all this, but even when I was at my lowest weight, 188, I had started helping others lose weight. I was really a physical trainer. I had people in my basement working them out. They was losing 50 something pounds. So I became true to this, right? This weight loss journey, this lifestyle became part of me. That was my condition. And now here it is a year later. I'm sitting here with 35 pounds that I got to lose to get back where I was. And I figured something out, y'all, that all that I've been going through in my mind, all the trauma, the last divorce, the health challenges was mental. And I went back eating like I was before I lost the weight. And that's what I mean when Sandra said that when you have an addiction, it doesn't go anywhere. You just have to be intentional with making sure that every day you just have to fight harder than those that don't have the addiction. So I wasn't intentional because I was in pain. I took pills all last year for pain. I was on steroids twice. I was in so much pain, you guys, but it didn't stop me. I kept going. I just couldn't work out and I gained the weight. So every day we feed ourselves something, and it ain't just food, it's thoughts, emotions, habits. I had to stop feeding myself rejection and start feeding myself grace. I had to give myself grace. And I did. And I got up after that divorce and I said, excuse my language, you're a little fat tail. Because fat is a bad word for me. You got to lose this weight. You got to lose this weight. And I stopped calling myself fat tail. I don't say that anymore. So I got on, I went to a community and started working out. And there is where I actually start walking more because now I can move now. My arm is up. I won't raise my arm up, but it can go all the way up in the air now. I can do things for myself again. I don't take what I couldn't do for granted. I had to learn how to write with my left hand. I can write with my right hand now. I'm back at it. And I feel like I'm 75 to 80% back. And so I'm excited. So the real weight loss is real freedom. And the real weight loss is mental. So what I'm going to challenge you all to do is this. I think I want to show you one more picture before we go on. I want y'all to see this before I get started with the next picture. I want you guys to look at this. You see that? That's what I'm coming back. It's strength in that picture. You couldn't have paid me to show this to the world because that confidence wasn't there. I talked about the confidence. I wore it with a smile. I wore it with the name Queen. I wore it with being busy and everything. But with this picture right here, Queen owned it. I was and still is a beast. I just got to get back there. I worked hard. No medical, no pills. It was all about moving my body, changing my mindset, losing the fat mentally and healing my soul so I can stand before a person and say, I lost 80 pounds and was able to keep it off. You guys, that's something to celebrate. And guess what? I'm getting back there, but I'm not going to long for that because I'm going to embrace where I'm at right now. I got to give myself some grace. So if you on that weight loss journey where you gain weight, where you lose weight, we all know what it is. And I'm menopausing. So you guys, menopause is a thing. They don't talk about it, ladies. I'm 57 years old. I thought once you stop your cycle, that was it. But somebody told me that's when it begins. I'm like, what the world? What? So I got a lot of challenges, but guess what? It will not stop me because I was not cut from a cloth of women that didn't give up. My mother, my grandmother, they fought so hard. They both had cancer. They died of cancer. And I've never seen women fight as hard to live in life. So I know that DNA is in me. So with this weight gain, trust and believe I'm going to lose it because I'm going to be intentional. I'm going to continue to stay around a community that celebrates me. I am going to identify what's valuable, what's not valuable. I'm going to get rid of things in my life that don't serve me any type of purpose. And I strongly suggest you to do the same if you're listening, if you have this journey that you're dealing with. Let me tell you something. It's exhausting and it's a shame. It's shameful when you gain weight and lose weight, gain weight and lose weight. I've declared starting last month, actually, that I will not be ashamed of the weight I gained. I will embrace this journey like I embraced it the first time when I was 268 pounds, and I'm going to be a winner. Let me give you 3 steps. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself. I don't give a darn how many degrees you have. I don't care how much makeup you wear. I don't care how much hair you put on your head and how long your fingernails are. I don't care how great you talk. I don't care how much money you got. If you can't look at yourself in the mirror and love the person you are naked, you got work to do. Do you understand? You have work to do. So be honest with yourself. Start the work today. Drink healthy. I've started already. I told you I'm down 12 pounds. I'm not going to stop until I'm not going to ever stop. I see them seniors out there walking day in and day in the morning time, 70, 80 years old. I'm not going to never stop moving. Our bodies were meant to move. So get up and move. So I'm never want to stop moving again in my life unless I have to, like I had to last year. The second thing, choose one new ingredient from your healing. Did you hear that? Choose one new ingredient from your healing. Every time you go through a season of hurt, pain, trauma, gaining weight, losing weight, whatever that thing is, you're going to come up with a new ingredient. It's going to be something good or something bad. Case in point, give you an example. All last year, when I went through what I went through and I couldn't move, that new ingredient was to show myself grace. That's why I'm saying it to you now. And I figured out what grace looked like. Just be in one with yourself. That's it. Forgive yourself, show yourself mercy. Don't be so, we are the hardest people on ourselves. We are the hardest on our, how do you say this? I'm the hardest on me, right? You can't be that way. Show yourself grace. That was one of my ingredients. And find a community that you can trust. Guess what, you guys? This podcast is my community. You're my community. We're in this together. I'm telling you, it might not be obesity that you're dealing with, but I'm sure it's something because life is a circle. You coming out of something or you going into something. And when you're doing any of those things, you need a community to be there. God said we need each other to be with each other, to heal, to celebrate one another. We need each other to survive. So I need you guys. I need every last one of you all to congratulate me when you see me losing weight, to let me know, hey, girl, you need to pull that plate back. I need that community because that's how I thrive. So, with nothing else further to say, being lighter makes me free. Every scar has a sermon, every pound held a pain, but every new step holds my purpose. Mm. You all know I'm going to end with a poem. I am shedding the weight of what no longer serves me. I am choosing recipes of healing, wholeness, and hope. I want you all to look at um, this picture here. So when I was with 360, Mind, Body, and Soul, we would have to take pictures of ourselves and affirm ourselves because to remind ourselves why we were doing what we were doing. And this affirmation says, life will make you lose yourself if you let it. I am important to me. And I remember writing that. And I remember taking that picture, feeling so bold and so strong and so in control of my eating, my physical, and my emotional, and my spiritual. I was praying every day. I still pray every day. I won't always do that. But this picture here reminds me of how strong I was. And I'm thriving to get back to that strength when I was and still is important to me. And I am important to me. And you know what? I'm back already. Okay. So let me scratch that. So that's me then, and this is me now. I just don't have that figure yet. I'm gonna get it, y'all. I'm coming back. Amen. Somebody. So anyway, guys. Anyway, thank you so very, very much for spending this time with me on this 100-degree weather. Just ending with this poem I wrote. This poem brought tears in my eyes. What's happening with every podcast? I'm writing like crazy, and I'm like, I feel a new book coming on. This is Inside Out of Queen's Journey is not my first book. I have a poetry book, a children's book, and I write plays every year. My nonprofit organization was birthed out of the pain. I'm just going to be honest with you. It was Niki's Theater Company, where we teach children how to act on and off stage. We are in camp right now, drama camp. We got about 20 students that are there, and we teach them how love starts with them. So all of that to say, I've been moving, the weight been coming, but I've been actually producing wonderful masterpieces that can help serve the world, the youth, and people around me. So, nothing else further to say. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And I thank you so very much for tuning in where healing is freedom. I am your host, Venita Queen Abrams. And please share this. And if you like this poem, give me some kudos, a thumbs up. Okay, so here we go. I carry more than flesh. I carry more than flesh on these bones. I carried stories no scale ever showed. Pounds of pain wrapped in silence, wounds stitched behind every I'm fine. Behind every craving was a memory. Behind each bite, a broken need. It wasn't hunger for food alone, it was hunger for peace for me. My smile was a performance and my strength a disguise, but my knees buckled at midnight under burdens my heart couldn't hide. I lost 80 pounds, yes, but what I really shed was shame, fear, rejection, and the echoes of you're not enough. I sent it back where it came. I stood in the kitchen of healing and I changed my recipe of life. Sprinkled laughter on my plate, replaced bitterness with light. I stirred in forgiveness, sipped self worth by the spoon, baked boundaries with purpose, and seasoned my soul to bloom. They ask me, why do I call myself queen? And I say, because I've earned the crown. I am strength carved from struggle, a diamond that rose from underground. I've even endured storms most never saw, and still I shine. I speak, I rise. Queen is not just a name, it's a birthright, one I carry with holy pride. So don't ask me what I lost. Ask me what I gained. A crown I now wear boldly. A boldly I love unchained. The weight wasn't just physical, it was ancestral, emotional, divine. But I'm free now, lighter in spirit. And that is the real bottom line. Thank you all so much for listening. Love you much. And remember, healing is not just a destination, it's a lifestyle. Have a great day. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to my podcast. I'm your host, Venita Queen Abrams, where healing is freedom. Welcome to a place where hearts are mended, where truth is spoken and chains are broken. This is your space. This is your time. Let's heal together. Healing is freedom. Let your soul rise high with Venita Queen Abrams right by your side. You'll learn how to fly from pain to purpose. Let your story be told. This is your moment. Break free, be bold. From trauma to triumph, from silence to sound. This is the sacred ground where healing is found. Through laughter, through tears, through powerful truth, we honor the journey from broken to new. Healing is freedom. Let your soul rise high with Venita Queen Abrams.